Hello. So I'm going to start vlog. This will probably be quite work heavy, but I'm trying to take a challenge that when I'm filming a vlog, I will do something else besides from doing work. Or just talk something else besides from work. Yeah, it is Tuesday, 10th of February. Last week I started working full-time for my PhD, so I have a month-long paid position as a doctoral researcher. So which means my weeks are filled with work, and honestly it has taken some adjustments to get used to working 5 days a week. So yeah, I am hoping that this week I also will do some like really nice things besides from working, because last week I feel it trained me completely, because I was just trying to get back into like a new routine, which meant waking up earlier. So yeah, I'm trying to incorporate some nice things into my day-to-day life, even when I'm working. But I have been really enjoying working, but I'm also going through a very stressful period during my work, because it is a grant proposal season again. So usually like middle of January to February are one of the busiest seasons for grants proposals. The other one is maybe in May, and then in autumn. But yeah, last week I submitted 2 grant proposals. One of them was partly in Swedish. Yeah, honestly, like trying to use like at least 2 different languages while writing grant proposals just messes my mind a bit. And when I try to speak Finnish, I usually start speaking in English. Yeah, it's just, and yeah, then having like source materials in Italian and Latin, I feel sometimes I'm just using too many languages during the day, and then after work, when I'm trying to speak in Finnish, yeah, it's hard. I'm currently working on one, so I still have like 2 major ones, and then one to apply for residence in Italy. Like last year, I spent a month in Italy, and I'm aiming that I could spend 1 to 2 months either in autumn or in the beginning of next year, depending on life. Yeah, those are the 3 applications I'm working on. Also, I have a conference paper in March. I had planned that I have like a ready-made article at this point, but yeah, life got in a way, and my article is still in a state that it was like last autumn, which is not great. So I also need to start working on that. So I'm kind of balancing between writing grant proposals and also doing research. But I have really loved, now that I have like a lot more motivation to do work, I also have been reading quite a lot for research. And today I'm aiming to also start going through my sources, which is terrifying. But I'm currently trying to get used to a routine of waking up 6:30 a.m. Because I want to get started with work by 8, so that I will finish work relatively early and have time for other stuff. But yeah, because my insomnia Yeah, it's like my sleeping habits aren't great. And I say this like after maybe 2 years of battling with insomnia. But yeah, I'm waiting that my body get used to that I get enough sleep. Like Sunday to Monday was absolutely terrible. Yesterday night was relatively good. And I'm feeling a lot better today. And I have been working. It's like almost 10 o'clock. I usually have a lunch break at 11 o'clock. So I just needed like a creative break. So I decided to start this vlog. And yeah, today I think I will be editing this grant proposal until lunch. And then I will do some actual research after lunch. Then I'm planning on cooking dinner. My friend is coming to come over. We have some planning stuff. And then I'm hoping that I have like a chilled night. Then I think I have a couple of like free nights, which just sounds delightful. And then weekend, it's Valentine's Day. So we have planned out to have a brunch. I'm also probably going to have a sleepover with a couple of my friends, because why not? But yeah, it just sounds really nice what plans we have for weekend, so that is exciting. And yeah, I'm just excited to vlog, take you along with me for like unusual week in my life, and talk about other stuffs besides from working also. Yeah, but I think my creative break is over now and I will continue doing work. last time I verbally updated you was probably last Tuesday. Now it is Thursday next week. A lot has happened in between. I feel I always like come up with a brilliant idea of filming like a week in my life, and then something goes wrong on that week, and then I end up not filming anything. But I feel that's just currently what my life looks like. But yeah, on Tuesday night I got ill with stomach bug, which meant that I was really sick for Wednesday, Thursday. On Friday I started to recover a little bit. But yeah, like almost the entire work week I was ill, and really ill. Like I don't remember last time I was actually that ill, because I also had fever and I couldn't like eat anything for like a couple of days, and it was absolutely horrible. And then the weekend, luckily I managed to join the plans that I had made for the weekend, which was nice, but I also was just so exhausted during the weekend. But we had brunch, and then we had a women's sleepover at my friend's place, and that was really nice. We went skating on Sunday. We just had a really nice Sunday. And now it is new week, Thursday. I don't know like how much I have touched on this on my vlogs, but for maybe couple of years, I have had really bad chronic pain, like period wise, but overall just like really bad chronic pain, which has taken a lot of energy, a lot of life out of me. And I have been waiting for a doctor's appointment several months, and on Tuesday I finally had the long-awaited doctor's appointment. I now have pain medications that I started on Thursday, and I feel it's working. I feel I finally have found a pain medication that actually works. Like last night I woke up and I was like, I feel very odd on my legs, and then I really then I understood that my legs were completely pain-free, and that felt odd. So yeah, today I'm feeling very good. Like I don't remember when was the last time that I actually had energy to wash my hair curly, like make myself look like really pretty. And yeah, it has just been a really good day so far. Like I have been doing work and it has been going great. I'm currently translating Latin. I'm translating one of my major sources. And yeah, today feels like a sliver of hope in all the darkness. This week has been quite work heavy. Yesterday I actually went to a party, local bookstore, and we celebrated the last year's literature affair that I was doing some Instagram and social media influencing work. So it was really nice to see some of my like bookies friends from where I live, and yeah, it just felt like I haven't been going out recently, And yeah, it just felt amazing to be around people that I normally don't spend my time with. And I feel I'm starting to get my spark back. But also, like, the doctor's appointment was just really emotional, so I have been recovering from that. But I thought, while I'm taking a break from translating Latin, that I would actually talk about like books I am reading that I have finished this month. I think I have read around 6 books, but only one of them is a novel. So I have been just focusing on my research reading quite a bit, and also reading some like spiritual non-fiction. But I'm hoping that I will read some great novels, a couple of novels this month. I have been trying to get through Catabasis by R.F. Kuang, and I decided to finally yesterday DNF this. I read like halfway through of this, and I just couldn't get into it. Like, I felt that the characters were quite meh. The plotting was all over the place, and I honestly just didn't find this particularly interesting. And I feel when you are like not really reading a lot on your free time, and then you are reading a novel that you don't really enjoy, then it just makes you reading less. And I feel with Catabasis that has happened. So I decided, even though I was halfway through and I was thinking about pushing through, I'm just going to DNF this. And then last week I finished a couple of books, but this is the only physical one. I finished Contagious Disciple Making by David and Paul Watson. I have read this, I think, once, and like you can see, this is a spiritual book that I go back to, let's say, like monthly basis, at least. It's just really foundational when you look at how we are meant to, as a followers of Christ, to be disciples who make disciples. And this is just a really practical book, and I'm actually taking a part in leadership training. It lasts 1.5 years. It started last year, and we also have book club integrated with that, and we needed to read Contagious Disciple Making, and we have a Zoom next week about this, and conversation over it, and yeah, I just really found this really thought-provoking this time around. I absolutely loved it first time around, but now I feel I got a lot more out of it, and it has been really nice to reread some really good spiritual books as part of the book club in the leadership training. And then I thought I would talk to you about books I'm currently reading. This I am almost finished, and this is a finished translation of a book called God's Smuggler. This is a spiritual non-fiction book about Brother Andres, who worked as a missionary in Europe when Soviet Union existed, and he smuggled a lot of Bibles to countries that where Christianity was either banned or not really encouraged to participate in. I have been recommended this book by several friends, and now one of my friends read this and he really enjoyed this, and I have been reading this mainly during evenings because sometimes it's just comforting to read about like non-fiction books or biographies about Christians in the bed for some reason. And I have around 100 pages to go, and I'm hoping that I will finish this in a couple of days. And then, because I decided to DNF Katabasis yesterday night, I started a new book. This is a Finnish historical fiction. It is in the middle of a 19th century in Finland. And this is a third book in a series that follows different women who become the owners of this great mansion by marriage. And the writer is actually like the current, she married the current owner of this mansion called Hakoisten Kartano. And what I really love about R.M. Rosenberg, who has written this, that she is a historian but also a great writer, and I just love the historical detailing in this. And yeah, I read around like 50 pages yesterday night when I was trying to fall asleep, and I'm excited to continue this. And I think I'm going to go to library tomorrow to pick up a lot of exciting books. And I'm starting to feel excited about reading again now that I have decided to DNF Katabasis. But yeah, I will have to go and continue translating and doing work. And yeah, tomorrow I'm planning on having like a little bit of date night on myself, on my own, to celebrate that tomorrow I will resume last grant funding application in a couple of months. And yeah, I'm just hoping that I will have like a nice trip to library, maybe going to some cafe and just enjoying Friday. Honestly, I feel every time I manage to translate a sentence, I feel I need treats. Like, I have been so afraid of starting to translate Latin, because my Latin is really rusty, which means I haven't been like actually translating anything, which kind of makes my fear even greater. But yeah, this week I just decided I'm going to start translating. And yesterday things were very slow, but today things are working out very well. Okay, so I'm finally finishing this vlog. It is 2nd of March. I didn't manage to finish this vlog before going to Turku, where I do my PhD. So I spent last week there, and I had planned on finishing this vlog in the weekend before going away, but I just had like a really tired weekend, just resting. I didn't feel like talking basically to anyone. So yeah, I thought I would finally finish this vlog by talking to you about 3 books I actually finished during that weekend and finish up this vlog. It's funny that I started this vlog thinking that it will be like a week in my life, and I feel I have been filming this on and off for over 3 weeks. Yeah, but like I said, I finished 3 books during that weekend. It was just amazing, restful week. And I thought I would give you mini reviews of these books. So firstly, I finished The God's Smuggler by brother Andrew, that I mentioned in my vlog at some point. I really enjoyed this. This was really inspirational. I read it mostly before going to bed, and I feel I sometimes just enjoy reading these kind of books before falling asleep, just inspirational, spiritual books that are stories from other people's lives, because I can't read a spiritual non-fiction book that has insights. I can't read that before going to bed because I go into like a research mode and I make notes. So sometimes it's just nice to read like spiritual books like these, which are like just inspirational stories from other people's lives. So yeah, I found this really interesting and I ended up giving it, I think, like 4 stars. And then I read a really good book. I really enjoyed this. This is a Finnish historical fiction book. It is from 19th century Finland, and it goes through a life of Emily, who marries a man that is quite a lot of wealthier than her and has a higher position in the society, and they marry for love. And this chronicles Emily's life. She lives quite an unhappy life, trying to conceive and trying to get a child, and she just goes through miscarriages, she goes through a loss of a child, and it's just a really miserable book. But I think I just really enjoyed how it talks about the time period that this is set in. And Riikka Maria Rosenberg is actually an historian as a second job. She actually has a PhD in history, and I think it really shows because she manages to create a really brilliant context, even though in the like the afterwards she explains how she needed to fictionalize some of these stories, especially Emily's, because she couldn't find any sources. But she has been quite faithful to everything that she has found, and then little bit fictionalized in a really good manner. So I ended up giving this like 4.5 stars because this made me cry in the end. I just was really touched by this book, and I really just loved Emily. I just loved her character and how all the emotions she went through. Yeah, I just found this really incredible, and I'm really sorry that most of you can't read this because this is in Finnish. And then I read a really bad book, like a book that I kind of hated. That is Tove Ditlevsen's Wilhelm's Room. I remember really loving Tove Ditlevsen's Copenhagen trilogy. Well, I don't know if I would reread it now. Would I enjoy it or not? I don't know. But I ended up really hating this. It is a story of a really miserable marriage, a really abusive marriage, and the affairs around it. So this starts when Wilhelm moves out of home that he shares with his wife and his son, and this just follows the infidelity of both Wilhelm and Lise, how they just make each other lives miserable. And currently I have been just reading quite many books about unhappy marriages, and I just don't like reading books like that talk about marriage in a with a really bad tone. I ended up giving this like 2 stars, and I only finished this because this was like 150 pages and I wanted to see if I hated it, and this just made me really uncomfortable. Sometimes it is good that a book makes you uncomfortable, but when a book makes me this uncomfortable, yeah, I didn't like it. So those are the books I finished during that weekend. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I am hoping to film some more. I had a really good time in Turku, and overall I just had like a really good solid working month, and I feel life's getting a little bit better. So I would really love to know what you have been reading, how are you doing, and happy reading.